What a contrast in just 7 days, from the rise and fall of Infineon Raceway in California to the wide open and flat out spaces of Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Diffie, joined by Johnny O'Connell and Andrew Marriott, and this is round 7 of the Speed GT Championship. Well, after the first 6 rounds, the points look like this. A narrow 9-point margin for Bill Auburn over Audi's Randy Pobst, and Phil Mcclure just a further 2 behind. PTG BMW drivers Hans Stuck and Justin Marks fill out the other 2 positions in the top 5. Undoubtedly this year, the factory drivers have been making it hard for the privateers.
I mean, I'm glad we've got more factory teams, but it's tough. Last year, I had a very competitive car all year. This year, I'm having trouble getting in the top 10, let alone the top 5. So, you know, the Audis and the BMWs are pushing us hard, and hopefully we're getting far enough in the season we can push back a little bit.
I think it's very tough to race against the factories. On the other hand, the factories bring a lot of excitement and a lot of exposure to the series, which is good for everybody. 3R does a pretty good job, very good job of racing against the factories. We're starting to come along, but it's an expensive proposition.
It's good that all the Corvettes are really not factory back, so if there was a factory back GM team, it would be much tougher to run as a privateer. But against the BMWs and the Audis, you know, I still think we stand a little bit of a chance.
Speaking of the different makes, this is what the Manufacturers' Championship looks like. It's been a head-to-head battle with BMW and Audi, but Chevrolet's only 2 points further back in third, and Porsche coming on strong. Now, this is a very special track on the annual calendar. Johnny O'Connell, talk us around and tell us what we need to know about Road America.
Road America, Elkhart Lake, my goodness, what a fantastic circuit, over 4 miles long. You know, normally we go to a circuit and we don't, you know, there's 1 or 2 good passing zones. At Road America, there's a lot. My favorite part of the racetrack, though, the kink, turn 11, very fast top gear. If you get through there quick, you're gonna have a great lap time and do an awesome job.
It certainly is a special place. Time now to welcome and say hello to Andrew Marriott. He's on the grid.
Well, here on pole position, not much surprise about this. We've got Billy Oberlin here in the BMW. Of course, took the lead of the championship in last week's race. Bill looking very strong indeed. Let's walk back a little bit. In second place, the second of the BMWs, Hans Stuck, and Hans is going to be carrying one of our cameras, as is Bill. Hans, of course, with his famous helmet with the stars on it. Then Randy Pobst in the Audi, of course. He lost the championship lead just at the last race. He'll be hoping to get it back here. We expect the BMWs and Audis to be pretty closely matched. Then the third of the BMWs, Boris said, getting ready. The best of the Porsches is Mike Fitzgerald, and we know that Porsches are going to work very well here. But then, back in 6th place, we come to the big surprise. Viper's return to this series. And Michael McCann is representing Viper and the Dodge brand. It's great to see these cars here. Michael is a complete rookie to this series, been doing very well indeed in the Viper Racing League. And Mike, you're looking forward to this?
Absolutely. We've been looking for this for a long time.
No, you haven't been racing very long, only a couple of years in the Viper Racing League, and really you are moving up a big notch here.
Yes, we are. We've done a few Grand Am races, but this is a big step. We're looking forward to it, and we hope we're ready.
And what are you hoping for here? You think you can get on the podium?
Well, that's a goal. When we came here, that's a goal. We have high expectations. It's a great car. McCann Plastics Dodge Viper, it's a great car, and we're going to do our best.
I'm sure Michael's certainly going to do his best, so it's wonderful to see Dodge Vipers in GT again. We haven't seen them for about 3 years, and we could have a very good result from this rookie here.
Thanks, Andrew, and a nice-looking car at that as well. Well, this year, 3 wins to BMW, 2 to Corvette, and 1 to Porsche. Who will it be today? Speed Channel's coverage of the Speed GT Championship is brought to you by Toyo Tires, known for performance, tires that fit you. And by BMW. Visit your local BMW centre for a test drive. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. As the cars roll here at Road America, time to take a look at the Arby's starting grid. And for the 3rd consecutive race, Bill Auburn starts from pole. It's his 4th this year. First front row for the Austrian Hans Stuck. And the 2nd consecutive race, we do not see Randy Pobst for Audi on the front row. Things are changing. Mike Fitzgerald and Michael McCann, we've just heard from Michael. Great to see one of those new competition coupes here today. Phil Mcclure, Michael Gallarde. Michael won here last year. What can he come up with today? We work our way back to row 5. Another one of the new Dodge Vipers alongside Mark Mcclure. That's Jim McCann. And we roll through the remainder of the grid. Justin Marks in the backup car. Is speed going to be everything here today, Johnny?
You know what? Road America, often people think because of these long straightaways, it's about horsepower. But I've been here in formula cars. You run low downforce, you get a lap time. You run high downforce, it's about the same lap time. Those BMWs handling is going to be their advantage.
Our onboards today look like this. We ride with David Farmer. We'll also be riding with 3R Racing's Mike Fitzgerald in the Porsche. Boris said in the first of the Team PTG BMWs. Randy Popst for the champion Audi. Hans Stuck, first front row of the year. Hans has given us some wonderful vision this year, and there's our pole man, Bill Auburn, for round 7 here at Road America. And as you can see, and I'm sure we'll see other shots as the race goes on, the skies above are not looking too promising. Will we have a mixed weather race? We will find out. We are just moments away from the start of round 7 of the Speed GT Championship. Green flag at the back. As always, watch the Audi, the white Audi, left of your screen as we focus on the lights. We're away, and so too is Randy Popst. Every single time that Audi just pounces. And look at our pole man. He has been dropped back to 3rd.
You know, not a great start by Bill. A good one by Hans, running in 2nd place now. But my goodness, those Audis out of the hole, it's hard stopping.
Mike McCann didn't waste any time in the Dodge Viper either. He got a nice outside run. And Mike Fitzgerald, he pushed hard. He's up ahead of Borisset already.
Really a nice job so far by Fitzgerald. And he's been getting stronger every race. On fire at Road Atlanta. They've got that Porsche working well. Everyone at 3R, you know, again, they do Phil Mcclure's Corvette, but they're also doing that Porsche, and it has been flying lately.
Down into the braking zone into turn 5, and speaking of that 3R Corvette, Phil Mcclure looking for a way past the BMWs. Look at this, Jimmy Adams coming around the outside to line up there behind Michael Gallarde. We go back on board now with the 22, the Porsche of Mike Fitzgerald. Pushing hard.
Using that road after the rumble strips. You know, sometimes some places here, you got a little extra road there. He's using it, and my goodness, if that's stuck up ahead, he is using that car up. He's pushing hard. Randy Popst in the lead, though. We've seen it with the Audi before. They get a big lead, they start to run off their tires, and they come back to you. Hans, I know, is thinking about that.
Into the carousel. The hugely exciting carousel. John Groom's day is done early. That's a shame for the Porsche driver. We join 2nd place, Hans Stuck.
And right here's the kink. Oh, you have no idea how fast that is. And just see him close up on Randy, okay? If you can be fast through the kink, you can beat guys here at Road America.
Top speeds here at Elkhart Lake around the 160-mile-an-hour mark. Big top-end speeds in the Speed GT Championship. Randy Popst up ahead. He's your race leader. You ride with sports car legend Hans Stuck chasing hard in 2nd. BMW's feeling pretty buoyant about their braking capabilities here at Elkhart Lake this weekend. They feel they're down a little on top-end speed, but the brakes will help them.
And seeing those guys use all that road, okay? One of the things in road racing, you only go down that straightaway as fast as you come off that previous corner. So you see these guys using all the road, and Randy right there moving to an inside line, kind of making himself a little bit more defensive to Hans.
Whoa! Little lock-up from Hans Stuck heading into turn 1. Mike Fitzgerald's not too far behind. Auburn, said. And then in behind Boris, it's Phil Mcclure. So it's a frantic pace early on. We'll be back. Welcome back to Road America, round 7 of the Speed GT Championship. And look at this, the pass for 2nd, the power of the Porsche. Mike Fitzgerald blast by Hans Stuck down into turn 5.
On board Hans now, and there's one move he can maybe make it to the inside here. I don't know whether he's going to have enough run.
Battle on hard early on. Let's get it down to pit lane. Andrew Marriott has an interesting report for us.
Well, Lee, what a fantastic result last weekend for BMW. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're backing it up with advertising bucks in the national media. Just look at this. We're reading in the pits, USA Today, the sports section, and a whole page ad, of course, with a very clever catch line. Yeah, BMW North America, certainly putting their money where their mouth is.
Most certainly are, and if you didn't catch the previous round, history was made as far as the SCCA Speed World Challenge, with Tom Milner's PTG BMW team finishing first through fourth. That has never been done before in the Speed GT Championship. It was a fine round for them in the Californian sunshine, that's for sure.
You know, and we knew when Tom Milner's group, PTG, came into the series, with their past experience, their association with BMW, they're going to bring a new ball game to town, and right now they're really showing what they're capable of. And we look at the start here, you see, man, that Audi gets out of the hole so well. Hans with a ton of wheel spin there. I don't know what happened to Bill, though.
We're going to show you from a number of different angles and onboard cameras as well. Look at this. It looks like Randy goes 2 seconds before everyone else, but he doesn't. It just launches that well.
Boy, you see Hans there getting some wheel spin, having to catch it.
The view from Boris Said's BMW. And that's what it looks like when you sit behind one of those Audi RS6s.
And here's Randy. Boom. Oh, my goodness. And you know what the thing is? If I'm PTG, if I'm Bill Auberland, and I'm Hans, and you know that way you're set up, and where Randy is, you're saying, okay, Bill, you come to the left a little bit at the start. I'm going to go to the right, and Probst won't get by there. He still got there. A pretty amazing start.
Well, we saw that at Infineon, didn't he, when Phil Mcclure came across and he just bounced off. As we look at Bill Auberland, speaking of Auberland, down on the inside, he gets by Hans Stuck. So in the last 2 laps, Hans Stuck has lost 2 positions. Tough going early on for the Austrian.
Well, you know, again, you start a race, your tire pressures are low, the track might have changed from the last time you're on it, so maybe you're not, you know, even though he had a second-place car for qualifying, maybe he's not got a second-place car right now. Hans Stuck is going to get everything he can, though, out of that BMW, and, you know, as is Bill Auberland. We've seen him just be awesome this year. That was brilliant. Did you see him slide in out of that corner?
Got it nicely sideways. Probst, Fitzgerald, Auberland, Audi, Porsche, BMW. And you can be assured that Bill Auberland is not too pleased by being sent backwards off the line, and he is doing everything to catch up, and catching is what Mike Fitzgerald's doing through the kink. He is all over the back of the champion Audi.
You know, I talked about how important the kink was, and right there, Fitzgerald learned some information that he's probably going to use next lap. He saw where Randy Pope's braking points were. He'll make an adjustment. Next lap, he might take a run at him.
We will wait and see what Mike Fitzgerald has for Randy Pope's. We showed you that succession of replays of Randy Pope's awesome start. Let's hear more now. Andrew's in pit lane.
Kevin, what a phenomenal start from Randy, but now he's got to do a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it was a terrific start. We were hoping, since we were in the second row, that we had a nice window to shoot past the BMWs, and it worked in our favor. And right now he is just running as hard as he can, and he's got a Porsche and a BMW train right on his tail. And we just hope we can hold him off and collect some more points, and hopefully maybe get on the podium in this race.
What about the tyre situation? Can they last, or will they start to go off?
Well, with the straightaways here, we were able to cool them down, and I think we can at least maintain a decent pace for this race. The first half will be, you know, our best half, and then the later half, everyone else will still be fast, so we'll just see what happens.
Thanks. Get back to the timing screen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Plenty of pressure on champion Audi's Randy Pope's up front. Infineon Raceway did not yield the result he was hoping for, a very unfamiliar 15th. After finishing on the podium in every single race leading up to that. Now he's back where he likes to be, but pressure is thick and fast, coming in the form of Mike Fitzgerald.
Boy, you know what? We really kind of thought of the Audi as being the horsepower hot rod. I mean, everyone talks about how fast it gets down the straight, how much power they have, but boy, that Porsche is looking stout as well.
The 3 PTG BMWs following Auberland, Stuck, and Boris Said. But all of the pressure is riding with Randy Pope's. Interested onlooker there, former F1 star and Champ Car team owner Stefan Johansson.
Speed.
The track is in beautiful condition. The turns are real nice. It's well laid out. It's an exciting track. I'm glad we're here.
The scenery is great, and the layout of the track is great. And it's really fast, kind of a driver's track. So I enjoy it a lot.
Great facility, a little bit memory to the Nürburgring, uphill, downhill, carousel, long straightaways, fantastic.
Everybody, when they speak of Elkhart, it's one of the premier super courses in the United States.
I mean, this is one of the best tracks in the country, the friendliest people, and the best food of any racetrack we go to, so I like it.
And that is one of the great things you never hear anyone say, as Fitzgerald really starts to heavy Randy Popes. You never hear anyone say that they do not like Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Everybody loves it. I mean, like he said, great food here, but the lap here, it is a fun lap. I mean, you're looking forward to every corner as we get back on with Fitzgerald.
A real European-style racetrack, that's for sure. And look at this, we've got the European makes up front. Audi, Porsche, and 3 BMWs. This is the fight for the top 5, and boy, is it close now. Randy Popes is in the hot seat. How much longer can he hang on?
Well, one thing, Lee, that we've seen, and it's been consistent this year, is that Audi can get out front. It relies on its horsepower, then it starts chewing up the tires, starts coming back to you. So what Fitzgerald has to do is make Randy use that car more than he wants. And you can see Randy doing that. He's driving a defensive line. If you're defensive, you're using more of your tires, okay? But he's got to get Randy in a position where Randy's slow coming off the corner and he can beat him to the next one.
After the earlier sessions this weekend, Randy was saying that he was a little surprised. He thought they may have more for the opposition. They thought that this was perhaps going to be one of their stronger tracks, and I think they've been surprised at the speed of this car in particular. Look at this, Mike Fitzgerald putting a run on Randy Popes.
And Randy squeezing him a little bit there, but doing what he needs to do. He's going to protect that inside line, drift it out. Mike going to take a peek at the inside, but with that Audi horsepower, I don't know whether he's going to make it happen. But if I'm Mike, okay, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start working him real hard in the carousel, about 3 or 4 corners from now, because it's a long right-hand corner that Randy, you know, that outside left front tire is just going to be getting chewed up. He'll be eventually slower and slower out of there. Then maybe you can take a run at him, either going into the kink or out of the kink.
Behind this group of 5 is the second champion Audi of Michael Gallarde, the multi-time Speed World Challenge champion.
And this right here is the carousel. You can see it's a long corner, and boy, somebody sounds like they're getting a little bit out of shape right there. But you see that everyone's backing up behind Popes right there.
Look at this, look at this! Mike Fitzgerald on the inside, out of the carousel, through the kink! Very rarely do you see a pass put on through the kink, and Bill Auburn now has a run at Randy Popes as well. Awesome stuff.
Leading it, BMW freight train down the inside going into Canada corner, but again, you saw Randy get offline there. He could not defend himself.
And look at this, Hans Stuck's lining up, Boris Sed's lining up. They all want a shot at Randy Popes now. Could Randy go from 1st to 5th? In just a matter of seconds, he's fighting back. He will not let Boris Sed through.
Oh, and Boris wants that position bad because he knows that the way that that Randy's been running, you can see Randy already going back to that defensive line. He does not want to let his teammates get away. And my goodness, that looks like what's going to happen right now.
As soon as Mike Fitzgerald opened the door, they all came running. Auburn was the first in the queue. Then Stuck came through. Boris Sed was almost there but ran out of ground. We ride now with Randy Popes, putting pressure back on Hans Stuck.
Oh, look at the speed difference at the end there. Hanzo in position to hold him off. I don't know whether Randy's going to have enough tire to make that move getting by. You can see he gets that little bit of a run on him, and if Hans hadn't, you know, kind of faked a peek to the inside there, Randy would have tried him.
And Johnny, I can't help but keep thinking about that move, Fitzgerald, that run he got out of the carousel, and to put a move on the inside of the kink, that's brave stuff.
This surprises me right there that Hans did not go to the left-hand side of the road to protect himself from Randy. That Audi horsepower just blew him away.
Randy gets one back, so Popes moves back up into the top 3. It's tight racing here at Road America. Stay with us, plenty more. Wind Tunnel right here on Speed, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. One of the best shows on the network. We get back to the racing, and whilst we're away, nothing has changed. That is, Randy Popst is still being hassled by Hans Stuck and Boris Said. Meanwhile, Bill Auburn and Mike Fitzgerald have got a good run.
Onboard Boris going in the Canada corner. Hans protecting himself a little bit to Boris. I got to tell you, that so catches me out that Hans did not protect his line against Randy. Kind of, you know, if I'm racing a guy and he's racing me clean and he's not doing any of the defensive stuff, I'm going to race him that way. But, I mean, the way Randy's been driving, and he's been having to do it all these races. Again, remember, he's a hired gun. He's paid to be at the front. You know, defending his line the way he does going down the straightaway, I totally expected Hans to do that back to him, and was surprised that didn't happen.
Another lap in the books. With 10 to go here at Elkhart Lake, Road America. You're riding with Boris Said. Now we take a look at our new race leader, Mike Fitzgerald, of course, the Road Atlanta race winner. He had to wait a lot of years for that win. It was a big drought, but perhaps, as they say, when it rains, it pours. Mike Fitzgerald in a very commanding position at the moment. He has a healthy gap over Bill Auburn, sitting second, and then plenty of room to breathe back to Randy Popst in third.
Yeah, those healthy gaps, though, can disappear on this racetrack real easy. Dropping a wheel, getting a little bit squirrely, whatever. Caution in a corner and over slowing down for it. I mean, Bill is there, and the thing about Fitzgerald, though, right now he's feeling good from that Road Atlanta win, and he's got his confidence up. A lot of times, you know, when you're a driver and you see, okay, I'm racing against Hans Stuck, Boris Said, Bill Auberlen, you know, these guys that you've been reading about and watching on TV, it can be a little intimidating until you get out there and you beat them, and then you say, man, I belong with these guys, I can do it again.
Mike opened the season nicely at Sebring with a second behind Phil Mcclure, but then the rounds in between there and Road Atlanta weren't so great. If we look further back, here's Michael Gallarde. Promising stuff for Michael. We've spoken about the multi-time champion a lot this year and the frustrations he's experienced. Now look at Phil Mcclure, the two-time race winner this year, hassling the Audi pilot. These two have been at it for a number of laps now, and then right in behind them is Mike McCann in that new Dodge Viper competition coupe. Beautiful looking car, and for a guy who is inexperienced at this level of motorsport, he's doing very well.
You know, he's doing an amazing job, and from the first time we saw that Viper in the hands of Adelaide Alassiad, I believe is how you say it, I mean, that is a race-winning looking car. That is a beautiful piece of machinery, and you know, it would not surprise me at all to see these Vipers, and especially as these guys, again, they know this racetrack, but as they get more and more comfortable with that Dodge Viper, you know, it's going to be up there and challenging, and you hope that Dodge's, you know, comes in at a factory level or does something, because that car has a lot of potential to compete here and compete well.
Well, as Andrew Marriott told us at the top of the show, if you joined us late, Jim McCann, Mike McCann, Paul Mumford, guys competing in the Viper Racing League, enjoying their time here in the Speed World Challenge, and Michael Gallarde has gone off outside turn one.
You know, his bad luck continues, and you know he's got to be feeling a lot of pressure, because Randy's been, you know, all the bad luck that he's been having, Randy's been having good luck, and you know, you don't know what happened there, whether he's just pushing too hard or what happened, but he's still running. I don't think he hurt that car at all.
Rejoins behind Mike Culver in 10th, was running 6th, though lost several positions.
Michael Culver, of course, not the owner of Lime Rock, and he's having a good run himself.
And here is the Gallarde replay. It's a little bit hard to decipher that, but what do you make of it, Johnny?
Well, what I make of it is I'm glad I'm in an Audi Quattro if I'm getting in all that kitty litter and I'm hard on the gas, and it pulled him out of there. Now he's got Culver to deal with, and again, you know, there's a lot of places to pass at Road America, but they're not always easy.
Paul Mumford right behind him while we join Boris Said, fighting teammate and good friend Hans Stuck in the PTG BMW
He's got you, Hans.
Wow! Another great move in the carousel. Boris Said on Hans Stuck, and Boris makes it stick. We return to Road America, and just a reminder, each and every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, join Alan Bestwick and the gang for Inside Winston Cup. The boys will bring you up to date with everything that transpired on the weekend just past and all the gossip inside Winston Cup. Back to it, and race leader Mike Fitzgerald is doing a wonderful job in his first interstate in Porsche. Boris Said is off. We have just seen him execute that wonderful move on Hans Stuck. Now he's ended up off the circuit, turn 5.
You know, from that view, you really can't see what happened, whether or not he locked his rears again. You know, well, he locked again. It actually looked like he locked his fronts there. Maybe actually, no, he got a little bit of rear lockup too, and that's all he needed. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, this shows how close these guys are running to the edge. Just a little bit off, he's gonna get a toe out of there, because that, you know, again, that's not a Quattro. You got a Quattro, you're driving right through that stuff. In a BMW, you need the toe.
Look at Boris saying, come on, you guys, come on, help. The corner workers doing a wonderful job here at Road America, as they do at each and every track around North America. But you can understand Boris's impatience. He wants to get back out there. He was running a very strong 4th. And listen to him scream that M3 up the hill.
That is beautiful. You know, it's funny. Boris Said is a killer race car driver. I mean, he's past Trans Am champion and all that kind of stuff, and he's really not showed what we would expect from him this year as far as a win or the results you would guess. You know what? I just wonder, if you go back to the very first race at Sebring, the very first time that car got on the racetrack, it got T-boned and it got put back together. So you wonder how complete a race car that is. I mean, if they get crashed even one time, you know, they're not as good as they originally are. And although Boris is vlogging, maybe I'm trying to give him an excuse for not winning races. I'll take it back, man. Hey, Boris, get out and win some races.
Riding with Mike Fitzgerald, race leader. I asked Boris earlier this weekend if he was enjoying, you know, the Speed World Challenge and being with his longtime boss and friend Tom Milner, and he said, I think it's great, I'm having a ball. He said, I kind of wish the races would be longer though.
Well, you know what? Right now I'm thinking Fitzgerald's probably thinking he was wishing this was the last lap. He's controlling this race and looking good. And you know, that Porsche, you know, the guys at 3R are having a great year. You look back at the start of the season with Mcclure, they're dominated. Now Mcclure's faded a little bit. I don't know whether they've lost a little bit of the touch of the setup on that Corvette, but boom, Will Moody gets in here and gets this Porsche and Fitzgerald, and they're cracking, and right now they're looking like the guys to beat.
Bill Auburn chasing in second. There is lots of daylight back to Randy Pobst in third. Here is an update on our 6th place driver, Mike McCann, in this beautifully turned out competition coupe Dodge Viper. He's chasing the other 3R racing car, the Corvette, the 2-times race winner this year, Phil Mcclure. Time for more from Andrew Marriott.
Well, Dan, you've just been speaking to your driver, Michael, in 6th place in his first pro race. This is sensational.
Yeah, he's doing really well, the McCann Plastics Dodge Viper. We just wanted to come here to feel it out for next year, and the car's doing phenomenal.
What did Michael say about track conditions?
He said it's getting a little greasy at the moment, but he's hanging in there.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sure those guys are having a thoroughly enjoyable weekend, and what a track to debut at. Road America, Elkhart Lake. And Mike just gets a little wide. Bit of a nervous moment for him.
Yeah, stays with it. And you know what's interesting is that the drop off there, a lot of guys have been doing that. There's getting a little rut there, and that, boy, you hate to get into something like that because it can throw your car sideways.
Jason Berkeley is stuck in the gravel. We'll see where that is as the camera widens out a little.
And we get another truck going towards it. You know what? Whenever that happens, I personally don't mind if they go for full course caution, because, you know, you get the safety workers out there, and so many of them are volunteers, and if there's a car off the racetrack, sometimes it attracts other race cars. So maybe this will be a full course caution, and everyone but Fitzgerald will be very happy.
Johnny, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Hans Stuck. Whoa, they got mayhem. I was about to say that looks to be rain out on the circuit. Hans Stuck with his wiper on. Mike Culver has spun in dramatic fashion.
You know, you don't spin there unless you get some help. I mean, that's on the straightaway on the run from, 3 to turn 5.
And a very fast section of the circuit as well. Let's take a look at what happened to Michael Culver, see if we can find out more.
Well, I'm not certain who is behind him there.
And that is Victor Contreras.
And my goodness, he gets into the back. You could even see the dent in the right rear corner before that even happened. And you know what? You ever see on TV shows the cops and all that when they take out a bad guy?
Yeah.
It takes so very little pressure on the rear of the car like you saw right there. And the lead car, there's nothing you can do. Culver was completely innocent on that one. And man, I hope he's all right. That was a big hit.
That was a very big hit. No doubt that will bring out a full course caution. And look at this, we've got Randy Popst off at Canada Corner. Popst is in the gravel trap. This has been a very eventful Speed GT round with some big names as we ride with Randy. Let's see if we can find out what happened.
Boy, that's almost like some sort of mechanical deal there, because, I mean, he got into the corner, had the gear, went to gas, nothing happened.
Understandably, full course caution. The champion boys have got a lot on their mind. We'll be back.
Kingpin at victory-usa.com.
Round 7 of the Speed GT Championship continues here at Road America. Welcome back. We are still under caution. Whilst we were away, Randy Popst was able to make his way back to pit lane. However, this happened on his way out.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want to have happen leaving the pits. I guarantee you he's not seeing anything right now. He's going to feel for the edge of the road and try to stop that thing.
And Johnny, that's just a simple case of someone forgetting to put the bonnet clips.
Well, you know, he had a problem that caused him to go off. And right there you can see he's completely blind and he's buckled in, so he can't like loosen his straps and look underneath that. That's a scary moment when you're a driver.
So the day not going Randy Popst's way, that's for sure. Restart about to happen. Mike Fitzgerald at the head of this train. Bill Auburn right behind. Third car in line is Hans Stuck, then Phil Mcclure and Mike McCann, then Michael Gallarde and Paul Mumford. We see green here at Road America. They get back to it. Mike Fitzgerald leads this pack down into turn 1.
All nice and clean. It looks like, I think that's Hans there that might be taking a look at Billy. Mcclure up to 4th. He's having a good run. And Gallarde, after his off, is back up there.
Recovers nicely, and Mike McCann taking a look on the inside of Michael Gallarde. So Mike McCann is not here just to learn. He's here to race. Almost came through on the inside of Michael Gallarde.
You know, and you like that. You like seeing a guy in a hot new car out here up against these guys. He's been watching on TV, and he's, you know what? He's dropped the gloves. He wants to do battle.
Paul Mumford right in behind him as well. Then it's Victor Contreras further back, and it looks like Jim McCann in behind those guys. So we have got a race on our hands.
Oh, look at Gallarde. McCann down the inside of Mcclure.
Whoa! There's just a couple of laps left to run here at Road America. And look at Paul Mumford looking for an inside run on McCann. Great racing in the Speed GT Championship here at Elkhart Lake. Meanwhile, up front, Mike Fitzgerald seems to have built a little buffer.
You know, McCann's got to feel like a guy that just walked into a nightclub as a fight was breaking out, and he's gonna have to keep his dukes up.
Now, while we see these guys battle up front, there's some bad news involving that guy there, car number 7. We hear word from race control. Bill Auburn will be penalized for jumping at the restart. Let's see what we can make of this.
Well, Billy's just following right. He pulls out a little bit there, but you know, it almost like it's like he checked up because he falls back and loses momentum as they cross start finish. So coming up the top of the hill, watch for brake lights from Bill. Okay, that's Fitzgerald checking up. All right, that's a bogus call, man, because what happened is, you know, when you saw Billy go to the brakes, he was checking up not to hit Fitzgerald, because what Fitzgerald probably did is get off the gas a little bit to make Billy check up. Billy touches the brakes, pulls out to the outside.
Hans Stuck has gone. Sorry to interrupt you, Johnny. Something has happened to Hans Stuck. He has spun. We have lost. You heard the tire squeal in the background, and our third place driver has gone around.
You can see tire smoke in the back and a black. You know what? I hate that. You know what the deal is? If Billy had passed him before start finish, yeah, bring him in. This is, you know what? They're taking the race away from Auburn, and he's earned the right to be there. I don't, you know, I'm gonna disagree with that call pretty strongly.
But is that excuse my ignorance, but is that for just breaking the line, jumping out of the line?
Yeah, well, that's the way I'm guessing that, well, here we are. We're on board with Hans going into 14. You know, he just got in there, maybe a little bit too much rear brakes. Never lifts, though. Look, did you hear that? On the gas all the way, do a 360, get back after it.
Through goes the Corvette of Mcclure and the Audi.
You see McCann get there through there, too. But, man, getting back to that, you know, I mean, we're racing here. And Billy wasn't in front of him before the start-finish line, nor did he get a run at him. He actually, you know, he pulled out so he didn't run into the back of Fitzgerald, who my guess has got off the throttle or gave him a brake check or something. So, call him as you see him.
Closing stages here at Road America. Whoa! Mike McCann runs wide. That's where we saw him drop a wheel off earlier as well.
Actually, that's a corner before. They're coming up to the area right now where he dropped the wheel before. Turn 8.
Look at Michael
McClure
Gallarde.
running in there quick. Gallarde. Oh, McClure's off.
Hang on to it, Phil. Gets a little wide. He comes across into the traffic. No! Oh, no! Phil Mcclure came back onto the racing surface and nailed Mike McCann. Jim McCann's involved as well.
Well, here we go. Turning into turn 8. He's just carrying too much speed, doesn't get down to his apex. He's probably thinking more about Gallarde. Gets off. He doesn't lift going through there because he wants to stay in the race, and he realizes there he made a big, big mistake.
Oh, that was ugly, and Woodhouse came through and contacted Phil Mcclure as well. That's Bob Woodhouse in the center of the track there, the McCann brothers further back. This is on board with Farmer. Whoa.
Oh, man.
And David Farmer got the dream run through that. This is on board with Hans Stuck, trying to fight his way back. And nowhere to go for Hans.
You know what? And what happens there, you know Hans is smoked. Here we are with Boris.
Keep in mind, Boris said is making his way back from 21st after getting caught in the sand trap. He gets the glory run through as well.
My goodness, I mean, that's so true to what it's like when you're out there, man. You got to pick a lane and just go for it. Hans didn't make it.
Full course caution and the white flag. 1 lap to go. We'll be back.
9:17.
Welcome back to Road America as you look at the very much damaged car of Bob Woodhouse. That front end damage after he came in contact with Phil Mcclure. We must say that was after Phil ran off the track. Race leader Mike Fitzgerald will take the checkered flag under caution here as he enters the main straight for the final time. And Michael Gallarde will get his best result of the season, albeit under very awkward circumstances. Knowing Michael, he will not want to take a podium in this fashion.
I think at this stage of the game, he's going to take a podium however he can get him.
Yeah.
And you know what? He persevered. Hate to see a race end like this, you know, again, but Fitzgerald was the class of the field. Auburn, man, he got robbed. Good for Gallarde, though.
And Paul Mumford, a newcomer to the series, takes 3rd. The 3R team are delighted, and so they should be, but very mixed feelings because one of their main men, Phil Mcclure, took a very big impact in what was a terrible-looking string of incidents. Let's take a look at the replay. You're looking at Phil Mcclure run off the track. Talk us through, Johnny.
Well, you know, right here, he just stays into it, loses the back end, and, man, you've got everybody coming through. That's a problem when you're a leader and you make a mistake. You can take a lot of cars out. Boom, boom. You see how fast it happens.
And Phil contacted Mike McCann, but then it was the big slam that he got from Bob Woodhouse.
Well, and watch Hans. Hans sees it going all left, so he goes right. McClure comes back, and wham, wham. Okay, now those for Hans, that was not a big hit, but for McClure, I'm sure he'd been peppered a few times.
We will update you on Phil McClure's condition. We can thankfully say that Mike Culver is okay after his earlier incident. We'll be back to wrap it up after this.
And 2, it's all about speed.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Speed GT Championship is brought to you by Toyo Tires. Known for performance, tires that fit you. Welcome back to Road America as the cleanup begins. A very big accident. This race has finished under caution, and our race winner is with Andrew Marriott.
Mike, your second victory of the year, a superb when you kept out of all that mayhem that went on behind you.
Yeah, it was a good day to be up front, I guess. I'm actually a little hesitant to start celebrating right now because I don't have any word yet on how my teammate Phil Mcclure's doing. That looked like a pretty nasty wreck when I went by under yellow, and I hope he's okay.
Talk to us about those early laps where you were trying to get past the Audi, of course.
Yeah, that's always a challenge because Randy's a great driver. Won't make mistakes, and it's a big car. It's hard to get by, and it's got good power. So you have to be a little bit creative with it. And I was trying to be patient, but I had all those BMWs right on my tail, and I wanted to get around Randy, and I ended up passing him in the kink, so I guess that's not really that patient, but it worked out, and we ended up having a great race.
Yeah, it was a super move. Congratulations.
Thanks. I want to thank the whole 3R Racing team. They, particularly my engineer, Will Moody. The guy is really more magician than engineer. I mean, he's just done a great job for me all year.
Nice words. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our congratulations to Mike Fitzgerald. You can see, though, he's got a lot on his mind. Mike wins the Remus power move of the race. Meanwhile, Paul Mumford, newcomer to the series, not only does he get a podium in his first outing, he wins the Sunoco Hard Charger Award from 23rd to 3rd. Pretty tough day there for Justin Marks, as well as Hans Stuck and a number of the other big names. We mentioned that Michael Gallarde got his first podium of the year. Let's hear from him right now.
Well, Michael, your best result of the season in an extraordinary race.
Wow, I can't believe. I hope Phil Mcclure is okay. I know I slowed down. I saw he was moving his arm, so my prayers with him. I think he'll be okay. But it was incredible. I mean, I had no brakes. I was fighting the brake pedal really hard. I went off at one. But thanks to the quattro, I was able to put out of the gravel trap. And then the last lap, the call off of my brakes says I went for it. And I was pushing pretty hard. I got a couple of guys, the Viper. And then we went to 7 to the left-hander, and I had a nice run out of 6. I was right next to Phil, and he went pretty deep. I back out of him. I'm like, oh, and sure enough, he was shot. He was completely sideways when I went by him, but I didn't see anything. But that was one of the incredible last lap. I mean, I was coming out in the front straight away, and I think it was Stuckey. Completely sideways, he lost. I had to go down to first gear again. I'm like, not again. I thought for sure I was gonna hit him. But thanks to my guys at champion the RS6 today, it was the best we could do it. I mean, being this savage, we finished on the podium. It's incredible.
That's a good feeling for you to be back on the podium after so long.
Yeah, it is. Never die, You always keep it on.
Great to see him on the podium, and it's a huge relief for the multi-time champion in Speed World Challenge. Let's take a look at the points. That 9-point lead over Randy Popes has now grown to 18, and Phil Mcclure holds down the second spot over Popes. Fitzgerald now moves up after his second win of the season. Boris said still in 3rd. Let's hear from Paul Mumford, our 3rd place getter.
Well, Paul, what an extraordinary race. You finished up in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I never thought it would happen after a little mishap in qualifying. We ran, I think, 3rd, 4th fastest in practice, and we're really getting the car to handle with these smaller front tires. And then we figured we'd lighten up the rear of the car, only put a couple of gallons of fuel in it, and got one lap in the wet. So we went from 3rd to 22nd, and really had to work our way through the pack. And I did get some help from the Viper guys. They let me by pretty good, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, it was an eventful race, and the yellow flags helped us out just tremendously. It really couldn't have been better timing for that.
This is all a bit different to the Viper Racing League, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is big boy stuff.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different. Normally I could start with the Viper Racing League, and there's about 4 or 5 guys that are every bit as quick as a lot of these guys. You'd be surprised. These guys are quick, but it's the next 15 where these guys are real tough to get around. Some really good drivers out there, and I got a couple breaks and a great car.
Well done. Enjoy the victory ceremonies and that champagne.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Congratulations to Paul Mumford as we take a look now at the manufacturer standings, and just 8 points the margin between BMW and Audi. It's quite an intriguing battle. Johnny, before I ask you your final thoughts, some good news. I just want to let you know that Phil Mcclure was transported via ambulance to Plymouth Hospital, and he did get knocked out during the impact, but he was awake and alert when they transported him. So promising news there.
Excellent news. You hate to see anything like that happen, but when you get the results like that, the cars can be rebuilt. Phil, he's okay. That's the most important thing.
It was a very, very eventful day here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, particularly for Randy Popes and many others. The next round of the series is at Laguna Seca in California. That one should be a good one. On behalf of Andrew Marriott, Johnny O'Connell, I'm Lee Diffie. We send our congratulations to Mike Fitzgerald and our thoughts with Phil Mcclure.
The SCCA Pro Rally Championship. Only the most intense drivers have the right combination of skills,